Hi guys, and welcome back. So today I want to take the time to kind of go through on why I chose the MBA program and why did I choose the UK for the MBA program. So it's going to be a quick video, but I'm going to take you through the pros and cons, and in terms of why did I go ahead with the choices that I made. So in terms of choosing UK as a whole, I chose the UK in terms of the MBA program because the MBA program in the UK is 1 year if you're doing it full time, obviously. So in terms of if you're doing the MBA program part time as an executive MBA, you will go into the MBA program for a 2-year MBA program. So it will allow you to work as well, and then you can do the MBA program for 2 years. So whereas I was under the impression that I wanted to be done with studying as soon as possible. So I wanted to just take that year. And for me, that MBA year that I took was kind of my break year from working, 5 years at a stretch. So it was kind of my break year, and I went into studying, and I wanted to be done with that for just about a year. So I didn't want to do anything to do with more than a year. So I looked at the US, I looked at Canada, I looked at Australia, and all these three countries had their pros and cons. But in terms of choosing the UK was mainly because you get to do the MBA program, you get that post-study work visa, which was 2 years, and so I had time to search for a job, and then move on from there, or look at other opportunities and then move on from there. So if you were to look at Canada and the US, both of these countries had MBA programs as well, which were probably very well reputed, or even way better than the MBA program that I did. But the thing with the MBA program that they had was it was a 2-year program. So in terms of 2 years, I really didn't want to stay out of the workforce for 2 years. Just working part-time jobs and then full-time MBA and full-time studying. So I did not go with that choice. And choosing Bristol, I chose Bristol as the place for my MBA program because I was looking at a lot of places in the UK in terms of where you get the best in terms of opportunity, because obviously you want to meet different people, you want to meet new people as well. So looking at which places have had more diversity, and looking at Bristol had a lot of international students, and obviously another point that was for Bristol was that Bristol was kind of the startup hub for the UK. So there were a lot of startups in Bristol, so I pretty much went and chose Bristol because I knew if I went into that space, I also had the opportunity of going into that setup and networking with people, and because I did have the long-term vision of creating something by myself, or creating my company as well. So in terms of choosing Bristol, that was pretty much my main talking points. The Bristol was the hub, and then you look at the university. That's when you kind of understand, does it make sense to look at the living expenses and the university, put together the costs of living there and so on, and you can kind of sum up, can I do it for the next year, and what your opportunities would be if you were to work, if you were to study full-time and then work part-time, or do you have opportunities like that available in Bristol? And I think everything was for Bristol at that point, because Bristol was a place where a lot of international communities were. So in terms of why did I choose the MBA program and not anything else for my master's, was because I had this long-standing desire to do the MBA program, because I always wanted to get into the business side of things. Although in my undergrad I did mechanical engineering, so coming from that very process-driven undergrad, you can kind of see, or you can kind of understand what sort of processes work in terms of manufacturing, design, and so on. That really helps to kind of understand a company or an organization from the back, just in terms of the back doors, in terms of everything that goes into building and forming a company. You get to understand all the processes, right? But in the front side of things, in terms of the business side of things, you would need to have a very elaborate approach in terms of understanding every facet of the business. So looking at that, I thought going into a program such as an MBA would be better suited for me, because it would kind of help me it'll help me and shape me to be a better person. But at the same time, it's a program that's dedicated to making sure that you are able to kind of go into that stream of managing people, managing teams, or managing an organization, and so on. So it kind of throws at you a lot of challenges. And in terms of an MBA, or a lot of programs itself, is mostly what you want to get out of that program and how involved you are in a program to get something out of it. So if you look at all the steps in the way through the MBA program, it's all about finding your way and finding what works for you, and making sure you're also very attentive through those processes that you go and follow. So that was very important for me in terms of choosing the MBA program. And then in terms of choosing UWE Bristol, let's move on into, let me share my screen, and I'll go walk you through why I chose UWE Bristol, and what were the pointers that I looked at in terms of their website. And then we can come back and kind of discuss and then close from there. So here's the website. So let me take you through a few things that I went through in terms of choosing the MBA program at UWE Bristol. So we're on MBA Executive. So let's go to MBA full-time. Looking into the MBA full-time, I go directly into the features, because this is what was really important to see, what their accreditations were. So for me, I was looking at the CMI certification was obviously important. So looking at the CMI certification, what are the membership benefits? You can obviously go in and look at that. But having the CMI certification is like a pool of resources that even after your MBA is very valuable. So I think having those things, not just your MBA, but what you're paying for is as well as like the huge library of things that a business school can provide to you. So you want to be able to get as much as you can. So obviously, whatever you're paying for, make sure looking at the professional accreditations, or looking at even features, for example, that they have, the more the better, obviously. So looking at that, just keep in mind that whatever you take forward in terms of features is what you want, and you look, if you have something specific that you're looking for, like for example for me, I was looking for CMI qualification and certification, so that was very important to me. There were universities that I liked that didn't have it, so UWE Bristol was obviously one of the universities that did have it, so I obviously did look into going into applying to them as well. So look at that. Look at fee structure. Obviously, fee structure is definitely important. And then look at what requirements you have as a student to fulfill. So to get your entry in. So check your language support. Do you need to write the IELTS exam? In terms of, for me, I didn't have to. So because I had the transcripts and I had English was my first language, so I didn't have that issue. So look into all those details. If English was your first language, then you'll have to prove it, and you'll have your transcripts to prove that. So go ahead and make sure you're checking these boxes before you go ahead and just apply blindly, instead of just understanding the whole process. So also understand in terms of placements what they can provide. So every business school or any program that you go into will have affiliated, let's say for example they have relationships with other companies, or relationships or partnerships with other projects, or organizations that they partner with, so that they can give you live projects. So these are very important. So look into what has happened in the previous years. Watch a few YouTube videos maybe on student reviews to understand, because there will always be numbers that the university puts up saying they were the best in terms of student welfare, they were the best in terms of the academics, or just the careers and enterprise department. So check those check those credentials that they've put up on their website or anywhere. Just check why are they saying that, and check if what they're saying makes sense, as well as go and maybe even message a few people or students or some students from UWE, and I'm definitely sure that they'll be happy to help you out, whether it be UWE or whether it be any other university. So I'm just taking you through the process of my research, when I went to go ahead and look at the university. And then I also did go and look at the program structure, because for me, a general MBA meant that I also wanted to hit certain points, like in terms of finance, in terms of marketing, in terms of strategy. So I wanted these subjects. So look at the structure of the MBA and make sure what you're trying to get out of the MBA is there in the program as well. So more than anything, I would say go through the prospectus and go through the PDF files and go through all the introductory, all the paperwork that they have for you for the university that you want to apply to. But at the same time, maybe have a few pointers of what you're looking to get out of the program. So a lot of the times these programs are created in such a way that you can use it to your maximum potential. So you've got to understand, if you want to get a particular, like for example, for me, after my MBA, I wanted to get into business. So I chose Bristol because it was a startup. There was a lot of startups that were there, and it was a startup hub of the UK. So these are reasons that you choose a particular place. So in the same way, choose a university that will give you the best outcomes. So think backwards. What do you look to do in the next 2 years after your master's or after your finishing your program, and then work backwards on thinking, does this program fulfill whatever I wanted to, like what I want to achieve? So if I did study this, will I get this result? So think backwards and kind of try to work backwards, because for me, doing that really helped, because I went into UWE knowing that they have a student venture. They were actively involved in Enactus. They were actively involved in an accelerator program. So what happened was, knowing all these things, as soon as I got into the university, from day one, I knew what I wanted to work towards. So it gave me clarity in terms of what my next steps were. And we're back. So yeah, that was pretty much it, and these were the steps that I took in terms of trying to understand how I chose my MBA and where I chose it, and how I went into this program. I really suggest you guys, and in terms of really emphasize on the point that you guys should understand what you want to get out of the program before you actually go into a program. So don't do the same kind of mistake that you did of just choosing your undergrad and just going with the flow of things, and then go into a master's as well in the same sort of way. Choose the master's program to kind of develop and hone your skill set, and kind of just push on your strengths and make sure that you can become an all-rounded person, right? So focus on that, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put it down in the comment section below, or just reach out to me on email, or reach out to me on any of my social media channels. I'm happy to help and get in touch with you guys. But yes, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because that really helps. Subscribe, like, whatever you can do. Share this video on any other platform that you want to. But yes, I want to be helpful to a lot of other people, and whoever are searching for help, please do reach out, and know that there's always people around that you can get help from. Don't think you're doing things by yourself. So I'm pretty sure if you reach out for help, you will get help. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Thank you guys. Bye.